grab it really, really fast, go up 2-1. Nobody's going to talk about that he got the next 3 guys out really quick. I think if they score more there, that momentum grows. So Jake was himself, didn't strike out as many, and he'll tell you his fastball command wasn't as good as it's been to both sides of the plate, but that tells you how good he is and what type of stuff he has, because he was able to get under their barrel enough to keep the ball in the ballpark except for Albright's. And then I thought Lynch was outstanding on that last inning. Obviously, we get that lead off out. We got to learn from that, but that was a tough pitch. It got away. It's supposed to be glove side and went arm side like 94, and then that's how we drew it up. Just brought in McDuffie and figured we would make it dicey and end with a double play. But I do want to point out Jackson Vanderbrate too and Perry Hargett, bottom of our order. I feel like that's the first time I've seen Jackson and Coach Weir spent all week working, and we think that doesn't mean he's going to start hitting like crazy, but we feel like he's back in that mechanical spot he was in 2023, and I thought he really had some really good swings, and 3-0 swing, got enough of it, and Perry hustling around there got us the win.
First time that Jackson's left the yard in a while. What does it say to his resilience and just his journey after last year and now this year?
I just enjoy being around him every day. I know how lucky we are that he is here, and it's a credit to him because a lot of kids, in my opinion, the not knowing is hard. What you do know is if you leave, you can go play at a top Division II school. And he stuck with it and waited and waited and waited, and I think he got rewarded for that. I know he got rewarded for that. He was a big-time leader for us last year. And he's had good at-bats. He just hasn't stung a lot of balls, but I feel like he was in a good place with that first ball that he pulled. That was really good to see because he's had a lot of flares to right field, and that's why I gave an assist to Coach Jackson because I looked over there at him, and we have some ways that we communicate. We've known each other a long time. It's a 3-0 count. I'm just kind of thinking, man, give him a 3-0, and he was like, so we gave him a 3-0, and he gets the assist for that home run.
To get technical for a second, talk about him getting into that the mechanical spot that he was 2 years ago. What specifically are you talking about there?
We just went back all together and spent a ton of time, me, Coach Jackson, and Coach Weirs, but mostly Coach Weirs' Vicky, of just watching his swing in 23, just trying to put it beside his swing now. And what we think we came to the conclusion is he's gotten so much bigger and stronger. He's kind of hitting with that strength instead of being quicker. And he's staying up more mechanically so he can get more clearance. His swing just looked a lot quicker and more direct. And Jackson's always been a kid that if you make a mistake middle end, no matter what the velocity is, we found 3 swings in 23. One was against you Savage at 96, a William & Mary pitcher at 95, and another pitcher at like 94, and they were like inner third, and he just boom. So they worked on that, and I could tell in BP he felt really good, which is a big part of it as well. But the kid's got to put in the work, and he puts in the work, so that was cool to see him be rewarded for it.
Perry sort of played, didn't play, back out there for you. He had some adventures, but made the plays in left field. But walk us through
He caught every ball in left field.
That's what I said. It was an adventure, but he caught them, and that's all that matters. But walk us through that last play here. He didn't slow down running third.
No, that's what I told the team. One thing Perry Hargett, since the day he's walked on here, since the day we recruited him, he goes hard. And that's what he's learning in the outfield is I have to slow down a little bit with my first step, which he's getting better at. So when you're coaching third in that situation, the guy's being pulled back, you think it might be bang bang always with Kepley. But when he's going that hard, you think, okay, why wouldn't we send him right there? And Luke's been struggling a little bit, but I felt him, I could see him moving deep, and Perry never slowed down, and that gave him the opportunity to slide in there safe.
You got the Tiger Woods fist bump.
I was pumped. Yeah, I was pumped because that's something that we work on. Like, people don't see that type of stuff. Busting your tail, hitting the inside of the bag, getting in that lane, and having a chance to score. Because I want to be able to send you in that situation, depending on who the base runner is. And I didn't know he was going to fall. I thought, maybe he'll pull whoever's playing first off the bag. And, lucky for us, he fell down and Perry was hustling.
Perry, Kane, the base running, the speed on the base pass, especially when you have a small margin like this, how important is that to put pressure on the opposing pitchers?
That's something that we can do. It's distributed throughout the lineup, and we have good base runners too, in Vandy and Gavin down there at the bottom. But Perry does have that speed. He can hit anybody's fastball, and he's never scared. It's just certain things that it's on us as coaches for him to continue to get better as an outfielder, continue to get better as a bunter, but that is something you want to be able to do, and that's what's allowed us to still win games because we were in a tough stretch, and still, some of our guys just haven't gotten going, but they still have had some pretty quality at bats. And I reminded them the other day. I mean, Luke and Kepley and Gavin, they hadn't really got going, but they're going to get going because you get hot eventually.
And then, I mean, that last play, Alex. What do you even say about a play like that?
We've been debating because obviously we had him and Colby Wilkerson in the middle. He is as good as a shortstop, just like Colby. He's got a quick release. The only time occasionally he'll get a ball that's just hit directly to him, like any shortstop, he should have shuffled his feet. But he's got that quick exchange, that quick release. And you saw while obviously when him and Colby were together, while we didn't give any extra outs last year, and then you had Vance in center, so it was hard to score. But that's an unbelievable play. If you go back and watch and you watch how quick the ball got out of his hand when he stepped on the base, that's why he was out by just a hair.
And then the stretch by Hunter,
yeah,
that's working on his body like you talked about a lot, right?
Yeah, we know there's replay now. So in the olden days, you would work on maybe coming off a tad early. So I was hoping like he timed that thing up perfect. And then I saw the replay up there and I felt like he was on it. But again, he knows that's going to be bang bang. He did a really good job right there.
The positive was a big offense at the bottom of the order, but the other side of it is one hit from the top 6 guys.
Yeah.
That's got to be
a positive when you win.
Yeah.
Because those guys are going to get going. And Bass has been on the ball really well. The last 10 games, he's hitting almost at a 400 clip. He's driving the ball. Every time he hits the ball, he's got a chance to leave the yard. And Kepley and Luke, they're really good hitters. So that's how I'm, it's how I'm natured too, but that's how I'm looking at it. And I'm like, I know how good they are. And sometimes you do, I tell the guys all the time, don't chase hits, but I played. Sometimes it feels good maybe to get sawed off and get a hit. So I think they're a hit away or it's just a matter of where they get going.
Talking about Kane, have you ever seen a guy hit 3 times?
Maybe Kyle Datchers back in the day. He was like a Madden or Reed Front. But that kid's so tough. He plays so hard. He wants to win so badly. Like if you go in there, he will get hit. He doesn't care where it hits him. So I remind him, like if it's at your kneecap, get out of the way. But that's who he is. He's an on-base machine. And that's what I told guys. Kane Kepley's helped us win games, and he's like 0 for his last 20 or something. But he's still on base with a pretty high on-base percentage. So imagine when he starts hitting a couple doubles and singles.
Him getting hit and then his base running at second, how important is it to have that grit at the top of the lineup?
I'm not moving Kane Kepley because he's going to get on base. And imagine how much he's going to get on base when he starts getting those hits. And, now with Perry and we've got some other guys, Sawyer's going to be out, unfortunately, for a little while. He's got a hand issue. We don't know how long it's going to be. I'll let y'all know when I know for sure. It might be a hamate, but we're waiting to see for sure which stinks for him. But that's why you have depth, and that's why you have talented players on the bench.
And then bases loaded, nobody out in the ninth, and you're calling upon a true freshman. I know that he's pitched a lot for you. You trust him, but boy, for that guy to just deliver in that situation.
Yeah, back to back. Lynch was unbelievable in the 8th. But he was at ECU, but North Carolina Duke, you strike out the first guy, and all of a sudden, you learn from that. But I felt like Walker, he's got some of the best command on our staff, and he's got that slider. He can throw it any time. So not only can he strike you out, but he can get ground balls. And I just felt like we've got to get this first guy out. We strike him out great. But I felt good about Walker being in that situation. I almost went to him. If it would have gone 2-0, I was going to go to him with first and second, and I probably should have considered it 2-1, but he bailed me out on that for sure.
Lynch, too, seems to have a really good ability to get those ground ball hits. How important, with them being freshmen and just their command, is having that?
Yeah, their command shows in their numbers, so when you go up there, unless all of a sudden it's just all over the place, you got to be ready to hit. You look at their walks and strikeouts, it's really good. But the thing about them, too, not only do they have good walks and strikeouts, their stuff is nasty. You grade their stuff. It's not like they're in there throwing 86, 88. Lynch was throwing cheese, and I thought Duffy had a good zip on his fastball, and that's where that stuff adds up. OS stepping up against Gardner-Webb, Olin Johnson, Seagrave, so we didn't have to pitch him in that game. That's why they were fresh.
Going back to that play in the 8th, obviously it ends up being the run, the difference in the game. How gratifying is that for you as a baseball coach to win a game on a little thing like that, a baseball play that was executed perfectly
Yeah,
in that
it's
situation.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't use the word gratifying. I'm gonna be happy if we win. I don't care how we win. As Coach Gallo always said, I've never seen a bad one, which I am the same way. I've never seen a bad one. But it is something that we talk about, something that we emphasize, the importance of just not taking a pitch off in the game is a matter of inches. And if you decide not to go hard in that spot, I can't send you. And then Luke gets out and the game's tied. So that's where it's gratifying from that standpoint. But it is a standard here. So that's what our guys should do, because that's how you play the game.
2 more. Unless we're good.
Thanks,
We're
Coach.
good. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
It's been a while since one has left the park. Just how gratifying did that feel today?
Yeah, I mean, it felt good. Coolest thing was just, in that spot, obviously. In the inning before, whatever inning that was, guys on base, only get one across. So, it felt good, but I'm not going to read too much into that.
Coach has talked a lot about just all of the mechanical things that you and Coach Weirs have been working on, looking at your swings from 2023, kind of matching those up. Can you just kind of take me through those mechanical changes before today?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just trying to simplify. I think that a lot of times I try to muscle up, hit balls hard, and I don't necessarily need to do that. Kind of just let the athleticism take over is the biggest thing.
You had a front row seat to Alex's play there at the end. Just sort of walk us through your vantage point there.
Yeah, I mean, there couldn't have been a more awkward ground ball, especially in that spot. Tips off of Duffy's glove, kind of puts him in between, and then just to make that throw on the run was unreal. We knew he was out the whole time. Obviously, they got to go to replay there, but it was really, really cool, and we kind of expect that out of him these days.
You played a couple ACC series, but this is a rivalry close by. Just was it more tense? It felt more tense out there. How did you feel as a player?
I mean, I don't know if tense is the word. We're definitely not feeling tense. I mean, coming in that there's a little bit more on the line, maybe, but we're going about things the same way we always do, and it always feels good to beat those guys.
But you guys at the bottom of the order, there were one hit in the first 6 guys in the order, but you guys at the end of the order brought the big hits all game. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that our lineup can do. We can hit 1 through 9, get on base 1 through 9, and our 1 through 4 for 5 guys have won us games, and you can't expect them to go out and do that every single day. So, bottom of the lineup has to be productive, and we work today.
Jackson, looking back a little bit, just heading into the season, kind of the limbo that you were in with the eligibility thing. Did that weigh on you in the offseason, and how much of a relief was it to now be here in this spot?
Yeah, I mean, it was a definite relief. I tried to not let it weigh on me. You'd have to ask some other guys if they felt like it did or not. I mean, I did my best to not let it. I pretty much treated it as if I was going to be here either way, and then if not, deal with it. And then obviously it ended up working out, and no place I would rather be.
The 5 hit by pitches, I mean, the last run for you guys just coming on base running, it seemed like this game felt really gritty. How does that kind of level of grit play into your team right now?
I think you're exactly right. We've been talking about that a lot lately. I think early we would go down and maybe tighten up a little bit, and something that we've been talking about is just being tougher. And kept getting hit 3 times, not surprised by that. He's been doing that all year. But I mean, it takes that sort of thing to get those kinds of wins, and got to keep that sort of thing rolling.
What is, as a captain, what is your role when you guys have those conversations about toughness and being able to come back when you're down?
Yeah, I think that it's we have so many guys that are coming in new to the program. I think that it's just kind of an expectation here that you go down. It doesn't even need to be said that whatever, we're going to get right back in this thing. And there were times when it didn't necessarily feel that way, so that's what was addressed. And obviously it doesn't take much adjustment, we just say, okay, here we go. And I think that the last 2 or 3 conference series, we've been seeing more of that. So hopefully we can just keep being that way and keep winning games.
I mean, today with Forbes and the fist bump, Ryan getting really fired up, you guys have gotten fired up all year long, but it seems like in the last few weeks that passion has kind of started to come out in a more physical form. Have you seen that as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's also been more to get excited about. But I mean, yeah, we want to see that sort of thing. Got to get excited for when things are going right.
With Lynch and McDuffie, it's easy to see the stuff plays, but how early did you see the composed also match that?
Pretty much immediately. Those guys, as 18-year-olds, it's pretty unbelievable to come into that spot. They've been doing it all year, so I mean we're kind of used to it at this point. But it really is, it's pretty special. And the stuff, like you said, is ridiculous. But those guys go in and compete every time they're out there.
Coach talked about the play that Perry made in the 8th, and that being the standard, going hard all the time, and y'all talking about that. Wondering just what those conversations are like, and y'all were really pumped after that particular play too. Just curious about that play.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it. That's the standard. That's what we're expected to do. We talk about it all the time, and it's not often you see a play like that kind of work out that way. And it ended up winning us the game, and that's why we do it.
Thanks, Jackson.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys through that last play.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like Vandy was saying, tipped off of Duffy's glove a little bit, and then, I saw it coming to me, that I had to try and give my best effort to make a play, and, luckily I was able to get to the bag quick and just sling it over first. Still, we made a good stretch.
Yeah, I mean, just talk about slinging it to him at first. It seems like Coach has talked a lot about how he's worked on his body, he's in his best shape. Just having that ability at first, how important is that to you guys?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, throwing everything over there, they kind of just feel like he's going to catch everything, whether it's a pick, long hop, short hop. Obviously that throw that I had earlier in the game threw a little bit high. He didn't really have a good grip on the ball, but, he's been so good over there, and that whatever you throw at him, he's going to have a chance, so it's huge for us.
I asked Jackson about this, but how do you think really, I mean, from your perspective, just the level of grit that was shown today just plays into your team identity?
Yeah, I mean, like they were saying, we thought we needed to be a little bit more, a little bit tougher, and I think that showed obviously tonight. Another thing that was we were talking about our energy levels, and we thought they were kind of low in the past couple of weeks, so we tried to ramp it up a little bit more, and I think that's just something that kind of really helped us in just competing in the box.
So those moments ago, you're kind of sitting down with your head down. I don't know if you're just listening to the press conference or kind of collecting your thoughts after a game like that. But when you're going home tonight, or the situation at the end where you make that play, what's going through your head? How are you going to think about this kind of down the road a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's just another game at the end of the day. Obviously, the win's the biggest thing for us. We play tomorrow, which is the great thing. So I'll just go home, get my sleep, and then tomorrow's a new day. So.
Is that one of your favorite plays that you made in a Carolina uniform?
Yeah, definitely. From a personal standpoint, I think so. I mean, obviously last year, in the game against LSU, that was definitely up there to go to supers, but that's definitely one of them.
On a play like that, what's going through your mind? Does the game slow down at all? Are you thinking more? Are you just reacting? Can you take us through kind of that moment?
Yeah, I think it's more of a reaction. I was talking to Gav kind of right before when they took Lynch out of the game, and I was just like, obviously it's not really fun. We make it more fun, of course we have to make it more fun. So I think that was something that, we're kind of just in the moment and not really worrying about anything, kind of just deep breath, and whatever happens. And in that situation, I definitely want the ball coming to me, so.
But you're just trusting the thousands of ground balls you've taken, all the throws, and just reacting in that moment.
Yeah, definitely. It's just all a reaction and just trusting yourself.
How big a playing second base last year helps with a play like that?
What'd you say?
How big were you from playing second base last year helps with a play like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. And positioning wise, Coach Weir's put me over on that side for I think it was Gracia. Mm-hmm. So he's a big pull hitter, and obviously last year playing on that side, you kind of know the bounces a little bit more and where you have to stand in order to make a play. So I think that definitely helped for sure.
I mean, Duke had the bases loaded that inning, and I mean, it seems like in the last few weeks, Jackson talked about it, you guys have really worked on your fight when you're down. How did that display just in a simple way like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously just trusting our pitchers to make pitches. They've been really good all year. We know they're going to strike guys out. They're going to get ground balls. So I think it's just trusting in each other and just trusting in the work that we put in that good things are going to happen.
Lynch and McDuffie don't just have the ability to strike guys out, but they get a lot of ground balls. How important is that, for you guys and just for the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely huge for us, especially as infielders. You kind of got to lock in a little bit more. I mean, obviously, you're locked in the whole game, but especially with them two on the mound, you're really locked in and you're expecting the ball hit to you every time, which is huge.
Vandy, getting rule eligible and coming back as an older guy, the two of you, at those key positions, having the experience that you have. First of all, how much fun is it, to play next to that guy?
Yeah, it's awesome. He's just such a great guy and a great leader. And he's just been, coming in last year, he was awesome for me and helped me, kind of find my way here. But I mean, he's just an unbelievable dude, and to see him the way he played today was unreal.
I know you guys talk about picking each other up and just the love that this team has. So how were you feeling when you saw him hit that homer today?
Oh, it was awesome. I don't know if you guys saw me, but I was screaming going down third baseline. I was so excited for him. It was awesome.
How much personality-wise do you feel like you guys kind of complement each other?
I think we're pretty similar in that sense, but yeah, I feel like he's a little bit more calm, and I'm a little bit more energetic in some senses.
What were y'all talking about in those like 3, 4, 5 minutes after you make the play and they go to review? Because that was a longer review, and Jackson said you had a feeling, or you guys knew he was out, but just curious what that was.
It's actually funny you say that. So every time they go to review when we're on the field, we always ask Stokely, is he out or safe? And Stokely always has an answer for you. Of course, this time he's like, I don't know. So we're all like, so we're kind of just standing there, and we're like, Gavin's like, I think he's out. Vanny said he thinks he's out. So we had a pretty good idea, but with Stokely not saying anything, we were like, I don't know how this is going to go.
What did you think?
I thought he was out just based on how it looked, but I still, you still have that thought going, like, oh, what if he's safe?
Does Stokely ever tell you the wrong thing?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
It's like, what is his accuracy rate?
That's a good question.
Intentional action.
I'd say he's probably like 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
So
around
even
there.
if we had one for you tonight,
Yeah,
not
well,
much
you'd
thought
rather
into
him
it?
say that he's out, but you have no idea. And then he's like, you on the bag? He's like, I think.
So you were asking him if he stayed on the bag and he didn't
Yeah.
know?
Well, he says he's just in those moments he just doesn't want to be wrong necessarily, so he just lets it go. He's like, I don't know.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
I'll see you tomorrow.